up, fragrant world? Welcome back to another Stay Fresh production. My name is Justin Copeland. On this channel, Stay Fresh Productions, we talk about everything fragrance related. If you have an interest in that kind of content, welcome to the place to be. This is the Fresh Squad, and I invite you to join by subscribing. Simple as clicking that button. That will increase, elevate, evolve, improve, and enhance your freshness. Your freshness being you bringing your best self into every situation, treating others with respect, understanding, and kindness, carrying yourself with elegance and class. And we use fragrance as at least a starting place for that. You'll feel it, others will smell it. Now, today's video is one of my favorite videos to do every year. This is the video where we recount all the fragrances. Well, I recount all the fragrances I wore for the entire year. And there's a very specific way that I do that because that might sound crazy.
And it is.
But I'm going to show you on the screen. There's a great website I've been using for years called Parfumo.net. They're not sponsoring this video or anything like that, but I love using them as a database. I basically log all the fragrances that I own there, and I log the ones that I wear every single day. And I've been doing this for years. If you missed all the other videos I've done in years past, you can check out that playlist. I'm just looking at my computer here, and I'm going to do a very light comparison between this year and last year. First of all, let me show you what I look at when I actually have to start counting everything. I go through pages and pages of all the fragrances that are logged in chronological order, and I put them in a spreadsheet. Every time I see a new fragrance, I put a new line for it, and then every time I see more occurrences of it, I have to add to the number of wearings, and it racks up, and I do that until I get all the way to the end, starting from January all the way until now. At the time I'm shooting this, there's at least a week left in December, but we're close enough. I don't think I'm going to be really giving heavy wear to any one particular fragrance to kind of offset the list, so it doesn't matter. And I'm only taking the top 10. So let me show you last year's list, and we're going to see quite a difference. There's going to be maybe 2 fragrances, I would say, that made it into the top 10 last year that are also here this year, but you can see we got Parfum de Marly kind of stole the show completely, with a little bit of a gap between the next one, which is Dolce & Gabbana, the one which I think I may have worn once this year or something. This is what I find the most interesting. If you look here at the bottom of last year, you'll see I wore a total of 177 different fragrances last year. That's a lot of fragrances because I try to wear something new every single day. Obviously there's repeats for the ones I really like. And you add up all the numbers here, I wore fragrance approximately 442 times last year. That's kind of ridiculous. This year, the numbers are a little bit different. We wore a total of about 195 different fragrances. But somehow it only adds up to about 376 wearings total for the entire year. And that's quite a distinction. Honestly, I can't even explain that, but that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about fragrances that I wore the most this year. And we had a ton of ties. We had a ton of fragrances that I wore 4 times or 3 times. And 4 times is definitely gonna encompass most of the bottom of the list here. But all 10 of these are superstars, and we have a very large margin between number 1 and 2. Anyway, let's dive right into the list. At number 10, Tom Ford, Plum Japonais. I wore this 4 times, which I did not expect. I love this fragrance, but I never considered myself wearing it more than a couple times in the year, but 4 times, that's a lot for me, believe it or not. And again, this is tied with several other fragrances that are not in this 10, but obviously I wore them just as much. I chose this one because it's different. You don't see people talk about this one very much. I think it's worth mentioning. It is discontinued, unfortunately, but there might be ways you can procure it out there. So if you look, so I'll see what I can find down below, but I think it's great if you can somehow get a sample of this stuff. This is a spicy, dark, earthy plum. Juicy, sweet, yes, but mostly spicy and woody. A little bit of a brashness in there, but it's really nicely balanced with the dark sweetness. And it makes it a very elegant fragrance that's, again, quite different. So Plum Japonais is here at number 10 for my most worn. At number 9, one of my absolute favorites, period, and definitely my favorite from the house, I think still to this day. From Le Labo we have Tabac 28, the Miami City exclusive. Not easy to get. This was a gift from Grace, which I am eternally grateful for. It smells so good. It is authentically pipe tobacco with rum and spices. A little bit of sweetness in there, but mostly this very leafy pipe tobacco with this booziness. So well blended. A little bit of a dryness, but also kind of smooth and leathery in a way, but just stunning stuff. It's kind of hard to nail down when you would wear this. I wouldn't call it a formal fragrance. It's also not super casual. I might wear this on a night out, maybe in the summertime in a shirt like this, but you can also wear it in the winter if you want, because it does have a warm vibe to it. Anyway, I also wore this 4 times. That's Tabak 28. Okay, I just realized that the camera settings were all wonky, so hopefully you could see me and it wasn't too dark. We're back. We're moving on to number 8, and this is the last of the tie of fragrances here at the bottom that I wore 4 times. I actually just wore this last night, so it kind of barely made it in here, but this is a stunning fragrance. I've been talking about it a lot since I got it, and this is one of the newest from Penhaligon's. It's called Howtty Cedar. It does seem to be a little bit hard to find, but if you can get your hands on a sample, I recommend it. This is one of those perfect holiday fragrances. It has this wintry Christmas time feel. It's spicy, there's dried fruits in here, there's rum, it's boozy, it's warm, it's very woody, as per the name, lots of cedar wood in here. This kind of dry, peppery woodiness that sits below these dried fruits that are sweet but not juicy or bright in any way. Maybe a little bit of vanilla in there, or tonka bean, or some kind of smooth sweetness to kind of fill it out. Very festive and also quite strong. This stuff was projecting almost more than I wanted it to last night, but I do really enjoy Penhaligon's Howtty Cedar. 5 times I wore this year. This is one of my favorites in my collection by far. My friend Wayne, I have you to thank for this, so thank you so much for bringing this into my life. From Chris Collins, Oud Galore. This is just pure luxury. This is very accessible oud and rose together. More on the medicinal side of oud, more so than the funky or fecal side of things. It's not really animalic at all. It's more medicinal and almost clean smelling, with this slightly jammy rose, but with a nice orris note. So the orris is the root of the iris flower, and it can bring this almost smooth, buttery quality that gives a creaminess to the fragrance that's not overly so, but it kind of smooths it out, fills out the heart a bit. A little bit of cinnamon in there for some warmth, some spice. Smells stunning, so elegant, and no slouch. This is a strong one, not going to project like crazy, but it will leave a trail, and it's going to last on your skin 12+ hours easy if you care about that stuff. But it does it in an elegant way, which I really appreciate and prefer. That is Oud Galore from Chris Collins. All right, I wore the next 2 fragrances 6 times. Here at number 6, very fitting, from Dior, we have Dior Homme. The original from 2011, at least the 2011 formulation of it. I somehow have this kind of everlasting bottle that I really struggle to put a dent in. This is a trailblazer in the men's designer market. We're talking about powdery, waxy iris that smells a little bit like a cosmetic product. If you're not familiar, it might sound terrible, but it's mixed with a beautiful aromatic lavender. So there's a freshness here. There's this chocolatey cacao, and there's even a bit of leather as it dries. It starts off with mostly lavender and iris to start, so kind of a waxy freshness with a hint of sweetness behind it, and it dries into this cacao and leather combo, almost chocolatey leather. Just incredible and unique, and to this day, timeless. I think this is a timeless masterpiece. This will go down in history, without a doubt. Dior Homme here at number 6. Here at number 5, from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian, I also wore this 6 times. Still one of my favorites in my collection. I spoke of its praises a lot last year, and it's still here in my top 10. We're talking about Gentle Fluidity Silver. And this is a great personification of simple but unique. There's this very simple freshness from juniper berry, which basically smells like gin. It is sharp, it is cooling, a little bit green, and very fresh, mixed with some spices like coriander, mixed with a little bit of vanilla. So it actually has this creamy sweetness. There's a musk in here, maybe an amber. So it's kind of a duality of cold and warm together, but very invigorating. Again, kind of easygoing, but also something that you can dress up, and it smells very handsome. It smells very refined, and it's actually quite strong. You wouldn't think so, but I love this stuff. I will continue to sing its praises. Gentle Fluidity Silver from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. Okay, we have Orage Parfums here. We have 2 of them actually. one that I wore one more time than this. I wore this 8 times, which is a lot for me, and it really shows how much I love this fragrance. It's pretty versatile. You can wear it in a variety of situations year round, and this is Oligarch. Elegant freshness. This is fruity, it's citrusy, it's woody, it's kind of herbaceous. I get a strange medicinal vibe that I actually really like, almost like eucalyptus in a way, but it's so complex, but it wears so easy, and it's powerful. It has a beautiful trail. Again, super elegant stuff. Nothing smells quite like it. I think some people compare it to Terre d'Hermès. I can kind of see the resemblance, but this is on the fruitier and sweeter side of things. Still recommend Oligarch. Get yourself a sample. Gonna have links down below. That is here at number 4. Again, 8 times this year. At number 3, I wore this 9 times. This is also a very versatile scent. I thought Oligarch would have actually beat this out, but I was surprised how much I wore this year when I added up all the numbers. We have Burlington 1819. Yet again, kind of a unique profile here with very familiar elements, but done in a different way. You have citrus that's kind of mouth-watering and tart. You have rum, which is beautiful. You have this kind of warm, ambery nature. So you also kind of have a bit of a duality here. Bright, citrusy, maybe spicy, but it dries pretty warm and almost woody in a way. Great performance as well. Elegant, but easy. Great combination, easy to wear year round. So there you go, 9 times for Roger Parfums Burlington 1819. So last year in 2020, I wore Parfum de Marly Sedley 13 times, and it was 2nd place. This year, as you can see, it's also 2nd place, but I wore it 9 times. I actually made an effort to wear the fragrances I wore last year less. I really wanted to change that. I couldn't stay away from Sedley though. It's so easy to wear. It gets me great attention when I wear it. It performs well, at least this kind of newer bottle I have. I've actually put a good little dent in this very large bottle, which I'm so proud of as a result of the last couple years. And this is nothing super special, but it just works. It is citrusy, it's minty. It has this kind of like crushed sugar vibe that I get. There's mandarin orange, there's mint, there's almost a sugary, citrusy sweetness in there. It's hard to describe, but there's a nice muskiness in here that just makes it really sexy. It's very clean, again, very easy to wear, and I wore it a lot. 9 times is no small amount when you have more and more fragrances coming in every week. So that is Sedley from Parfum de Marly. And here at number 1 with a wide margin,
I wore this 20 times this year.
And it was released in May. I got this bottle in May, and I wore it 20 times in about 7 months. So that's a lot, and that's actually kind of expected for a fragrance that is very close to my heart because I created it. This is Brass and Soul in collaboration with Zaharoff. I haven't spoken about it a lot on my channel purposefully because I didn't want to just inundate you guys with something I made. But those of you who have tried it, who bought it, you already know how this smells and you know what it does for you. Again, it's me in a bottle, at least at this current time for the year that we made it. This is me. I wanted to present my music in the form of scent to you, the way I experience a performance. And that's the whole story behind it. It has a lot of different facets that play all well together. I'm not going to talk much more about it because you can't get it anymore. It's sold out. It was limited run. It's gone. So that's all I'm going to say. But Brass and Soul, very special to me. I wore it a lot. I found this fragrance to be hard to not wear. I'd wear it once, and then I'd break this seal, and then I'd have to keep wearing it day after day after day after day. And that doesn't happen with any other fragrance that I own. So that's just my experience with it. But I love this stuff. And thank you to those of you who supported it. But at 20 times this year, our clear winner for 2021, Brass and Soul. That's gonna do it for me. That is 2021 in a nutshell in terms of what I wore the most. I'm gonna scroll through the list here very briefly where you can see all the other fragrances I wore and how many times I wore them. There's a lot of really good stuff in here that I wore that didn't quite make the list. Maybe we'll switch things up again for next year. I think I will because that's just how I roll. I like to change it up as often as I can. So I'd love to know, have you tried any of these fragrances on this list? Do any of these make your top 10 that you wore the most, even if you didn't keep track like I did? Sometimes you just kind of know, or you can look at the dent in the bottle and know how much you wore it based on when you got it. So let me know what fragrances you wore this year and if there's any in my list that you also enjoy. If you like the video, please like the video. It really means so much. Thank you guys for those of you who've been rocking in this fresh squad for all of this time. Either if you subscribe last week, or if you subscribed 5 years ago. I am so thankful to have you guys here going into the new year. I want to see if we can reach 50K. I wanted to try to hit it this year, but have no control over that. But those of you who've been joining the squad, thank you so much. I hope you feel your freshness increasing with every video, and I look forward to all the growth we're going to have in 2022. But until then, stay fresh. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.